Anna, what is the title of our lesson today?
11.4 theoretical.
And then we did add on, odds, right? Not quite sure why that's not in the title, but it is now. So go ahead and add that to your title. And then we now can find the theoretical and experimental probability of almost anything, as well as the odds. I am going to stress to you that you need to know how to calculate theoretical probability, which is something we've had for a while, and you need to be able to calculate experimental probability, which is pretty self-explanatory, I think. Those formulas need to be entrenched into your brain. They're not going to be given to you, you just got to know. What's the difference between experimental and theoretical, and then what are the formulas? Theoretical, what we think will happen over the total possible. Experimental, what actually happened over the total possible. And everyone's cool with the word favorable, right? I just, with my pre-algebra kids, we're just started probability today, and I was using the word favorable, and about half of them looked confused. And I'm like, I'm glad block 2 told me that they weren't sure about favorable outcome. So we talked about what favorable meant. Somebody tell me, what does it mean? What does favorable mean? Kaya? The thing you're looking for to happen, the thing you want to happen, right? The thing we're taking a look at most closely. So we did a whole bunch of examples of theoretical and experimental probability. We rolled number cubes, we flipped quarters, we did both of them. And then we got down to odds. Can somebody tell me the formula for calculating odds? Alexis. Favorable over unfavorable. And what is the difference between probability and odds? What's the big, huge difference, Alexis? Can somebody help her with the big, huge difference? It's in the denominator, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the difference in the denominator between probability and odds? Kiara? For probability, she said it's the total number of possible, whereas odds, it is what's left. Not your favorable, but what's left. Okay, so let me ask you this. Is the number of favorable outcomes plus the number of unfavorable outcomes the total number of outcomes?
Yeah.
Whereas in probability, the total number of outcomes is that bottom number, right? Okay, I think this is something you're going to need to study. This is a video you're going to need to watch. These are notes you're going to need to look at to know the difference between probability and odds. You could totally bomb a test by just having them flipped. You may know them, but if you know them in a flipped fashion, you could bomb this test. So you got to understand theoretical and experimental probability, and then also what is the difference between odds. Okay, we give you a couple of examples down here. It gets really tricky on number 6 when we're talking, or on number 7 when we're talking about the odds against something happening, which means you just need to think about what is the question actually asking you. So what is the odds against getting a 1 on a number cube? 5 times you would not get a 1, 1 time you would. So pay close attention to those. Any questions?
Wait.
What?
This isn't really neat, but why is for the odds? Why is it improper fraction? Because 5.
I'm gonna stop it and then we'll talk. Okay.